Welcome to All Clear, the podcast that takes you beyond the rails. Brought to you by the team at Australian Jumping, this podcast dives into the stories, the people, and the horses shaping our sport. Whether you're a seasoned competitor or simply love the thrill of the clear round, All Clear delivers the conversations that matter. Hit subscribe and join us for a fresh perspective on the sport you love. I'm very pleased to welcome Jack Barker as my guest this evening. Jack is a very successful young rider who has had some fantastic results over the past few years. Most recently last weekend winning the Mini Prix Championship at the Australian Jumping Champs, a very impressive feat for an 18-year-old. Welcome to All Clear, Jack.
Thank you.
Can we start by going right back to where it all began? Can you take us back to the beginning? How did you first get into horses and what are your earliest memories of riding?
So my mum was always a horse person. She was always into horses from a pretty young age, always rode. But my dad was never a horse person himself. He played cricket and footy. And so then when they met and then when mum had us, my brother and sister, she stopped riding. And then I was probably about 7 or 8 and mum started riding again. She did a bit of dressage and then she actually thought my sister was going to be the one that would maybe show hope of riding, but she hates it now. And I ended up taking more interest in it. I'd go with mum to the agistment and I'd sit on her horse after she would ride him. And I think that's where I grew my passion for it, was just following her. And eventually I got my first pony and that was pretty special. Yeah, that's how it started.
Did you end up starting at Pony Club? Was that the sort of first step along the journey for you?
I had a few riding lessons here and there and it was pretty quick. Mum was pretty quick to get us a pony who I learnt most on. Mum taught me to ride. And then I went to Main Ridge Pony Club on the peninsula, which was pretty local for us. It was a really good pony club. And yeah, that's also where I developed my passion for it, definitely down there.
Any of the people that you compete with today that you met at Pony Club?
Not so much who I compete against now, but I still know a lot of people from that club. We've got some good friends, people that we're still in contact with, people that mum's good friends with from the pony club and who I still talk to.
And you mentioned that your dad was really into other sports as well, or is into other sports. I believe that you're pretty good at other sports as well. So was it a bit of a battle for you to just decide where to put your focus?
Yeah, it was definitely tough. I started off playing footy and cricket and I didn't ride horses. I didn't take much interest into it when I was younger. And then once I started riding, doing more with the horses, then the first thing I gave up was footy. And I tried to juggle cricket and riding. That was quite tough. I found cricket is the sort of sport where you have to fully commit to it. Like you have to be training 2 or 3 times a week. And then it takes up your whole Saturday and I couldn't really do that and go to shows and keep horses in work. So I ended up, when I was probably 14 or 15, I gave up cricket and I put all my focus into riding. But it was definitely tough, but I don't regret it at all. I think riding is definitely the best sport, sure.
And did you have some coaches in the early days? Are they still your coach today?
I started at Pony Club. I started off as a dressage rider when I was younger. I had a really good dressage pony and I had help from Julia Stewart. She lives down in Merricks there. When I was younger, and then I had some jumping lessons. I was eventing for a bit. I had some lessons with Mark Griffiths. Went back when I had a few horses. Over the last few years, as with the show jumpers, I've been having lessons with Michelle Stratt, and she's amazing. Yeah, I'm very grateful to have her.
Was it about the jumping that you think made you steer in that direction as opposed to the eventing or the dressage?
Yeah, I had a really good dressage pony who I tried to event. He was pretty good, but it was probably when I got Mighty Tosca. He was my first competitive jumping horse. And we actually bought him as a horse for me to do eventing on. But he was 17, and it was just before COVID had hit, and he was a 4-star eventer back in his day. And he had an amazing show jumping record. He hadn't had a rail in 6 years or something like that for an eventing horse. That's pretty incredible. Because it was just after COVID, the horse was old. We just decided I'm just going to do some show jumping with him. And he was amazing. He was so competitive, an extremely good junior horse. And I think that's how I started to love show jumping over anything else, I think, definitely.
And then Tulara Colchick was a very good horse for you. Was she the next one that you stepped into after Mighty Tosca?
Yeah, I had Tosca, and then we bought Colchick. We called her Chisel. We bought her in, I think it was 2021, just after COVID. And yeah, she was the next one. And then with her, they also sent down Yandu Zenzel, who I did a few big classes with. But yeah, Colchick, she was the main one. Very good horse.
You had a fantastic young riders because you won the Star Tops Young Rider Series, didn't you, with her last year?
Yeah, I was very happy to win that with her. She had a great year last year. She had a great year the year before too. She was an amazing horse for myself. I was very lucky to have gotten the ride on her. She was very special, yeah.
And she's now with Olivia Curtin.
Yeah, she's with Liv. She just jumped in the Australian Junior Championship. She qualified for the final. She does a super job. I don't think we would have sold her to many people. We were quite lucky that Liv was also looking for a horse, and me and Mum watched her ride a few times, and we both thought, if there's anyone we're going to sell her to, I think it will be this girl. She's very, very capable. She's going really well. We're really happy with it. So hopefully they'll keep improving. And yeah, I think the sky's the limit for those two.
Yeah, they look great together. So let's just talk about the recent championships. This is your last year being able to compete as a junior. So I imagine that championship would have been one that you would have liked to secure, and you came very, very close. Charlie Magnier just picked me at the post. Tell me how that all played out and how you felt about that.
Yeah, it was my last year in juniors, and I did want to put Quinart in that class to win it, but Charlie, he's a great young rider, and me and Charlie are pretty competitive with each other, so it's good. But I'm always happy for Charlie when he wins. I think he's a really good rider, and no, I just like it when it's competitive. So it was a great class and a great show for my horse, though. She jumped clear every day. She's only a very small horse too, so the last day is hard for her, but she really stepped up well, jumped super. So I was super happy with her. Third place in a Australian Championship I'll always take that any day of the week. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. She looks like she has a lot of energy in the ring. When I see you come out on her,
she does.
She's always on her toes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I only like to go in the warm up when I have about 3 people before me, because she's just got so much blood. She just goes straight away. But I do enjoy riding her. She's very much a very competitive, fast horse, and I think I'll keep riding her next year in the young rider classes. She's a really good part of our team, so I'm looking forward to next year with her.
You're eligible to compete at young rider level for another 3 years, I think. But interestingly, I noted it at Auschamps, you decided to compete at Mini Prix level with some of the horses. What went into making that decision?
Actually had my year 12 exam on. I had my second last exam on Thursday, on at the exact same time as the first young rider class of the show. So I actually, obviously you can't get exams moved. So it was just impossible for me to jump in that class, which was a shame, but it's okay. Like, it is what it is. I can do it next year for the next 3 years. And it actually suited anyway, because those horses I had, they were really ready to jump in the Mini Prix. I would have loved to have been in the young rider for sure, though. Yeah, it was a shame, but it is what it is.
Well, you won. You won the Mini
I know.
Prix,
Yeah,
so...
I wasn't expecting that. No, it definitely wasn't
Well,
exceptional.
that's fresh in your mind. Let's just talk through that experience at the mini pre level, and it looked to me like a fairly big track as well. How did you find the whole mini pre experience?
Yeah, I think it's probably been for me the hardest transition, jumping from young rider classes to jumping to Mini Prix and Grand Prix. I think once they go up a few holes from young rider, you really can't afford to make any small errors. So I've really been working hard at my ride. I've tried to do as many of those Mini Prix classes as I can. And it was pretty good that it all came together for that class because I've certainly been working on my own ride. And my horse, Cornet's Princess, she jumps super. And she's also green at that level. This is her first year doing them. So we're both pretty green at that level, but she jumped super. I couldn't really fault her the whole show. It was super good.
A quick shout out to Divas Beverages, home of the Glades cocktail liqueur and VCAT vodka ranges. Great drinks, great people, and great supporters of our sport. Now back to our guest. What sorts of things for yourself did you find you had to work on, as you said, stepping up to that next level? What were the biggest things, biggest challenges for you?
I think strengthening up my position. I've been really working hard with Michelle. She's been getting into me actually about it. You just have to be so much taller, I find. Using your body a lot more. You have to be so much stronger with your position and use that to help the horse, especially with the horse I was on. It's just getting used to jumping bigger courses. The jumps are bigger. You have to just get used to it, I think. It's just a change. It's just harder. Yeah, more pressure. Against all the professional riders, I think, which is mentally a bit, it's also different. I reckon they go faster. It's just a different atmosphere in the warm-up. There's better horses you're competing against, all those mental things too.
Well, yes, you actually read my mind because that was my next question, because there was some seriously strong competition, certainly on that last day
Yeah.
in that class,
Yeah.
with some incredibly experienced riders. Did you feel intimidated at all?
I think it's definitely different than when you're competing in the young riders. I don't find I struggle with that too much though. I'm just always trying to focus on myself and giving the horse the best possible chance jumping a clear round. Yeah, I suppose it's easy to get distracted by that, but I just try and focus on what I can do. Yeah.
Is it a bit different in young rider when you're sort of with your mates? Do you find
Yeah,
the
it is a bit,
young
yeah.
rider class is a bit more fun?
Yeah, they are fun. I probably get more competitive in young riders because it's all my mates that I want to beat. But young riders is good. I'll miss doing the junior classes. They're good fun to do. They go pretty fast and that they're very competitive. But I'm looking forward to getting out there and jumping some bigger courses and testing it out a bit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We did mention last year that it culminated for you in winning the Staltops Young Rider Series. Part of that prize was the opportunity to go to visit Staltops and Valkenswaard. Did you end up doing that?
Yeah, so I went over, actually, we went over and had a look at some young horses last year. Oh, sorry, no, this year, earlier this year. We were over there and I did go and see Jacob and Edwina over there. And we caught up with them, which was really good. I actually went over the year before because I was lucky enough to win it the year before as well. So I did that whole thing the year before. And I spent 5 weeks over there at Staltops and I worked for them for 5 weeks, which was obviously an amazing experience. I'd never seen anything like that before. It's a very different sport, I think, over there. Is what I learned.
You get to ride some of their horses over there as well.
Yeah, I rode a fair bit, actually. I was lucky too. I rode at a show when they had the show at their place. They had a 4-star show at Staltops. I just did the 1-star. They gave me a horse to do that on, which was pretty cool. So that was good. Yeah. Very cool.
That would have been an amazing experience.
Oh, yeah.
So you mentioned you just completed your HSC. I have to admit, I didn't realise by just completed it, you really meant just completed it, like you
Yeah,
were
literally.
literally
Yeah,
finishing your exams.
I had my last exam yesterday, actually.
Oh,
Um,
right. So it was still going during the competition
yeah.
on the
Oh,
weekend.
yeah. I was going to and from the show on that Thursday. I jumped in the juniors first class, and then I left and I did an exam, and then came back and I jumped in the mini pre. So
Wow, that's pretty
pretty intense.
impressive. How did you juggle all of that in the months leading up with the training, the travel? Did you have to cut down a little bit on the competitions that you did this year?
I ended up getting to a few shows. My school were very good with it. They're sort of understanding of the commitment that I have to put into the horses. I dropped one subject this year, so I did one less subject, which gave me a bit more free time. But it was just a lot of early mornings. I couldn't have done it without the help from my parents and also the girls that came and helped me in the mornings, which allowed me to do all my school stuff in the afternoon. But yeah, it was hard work, but it's over now. So that's
Did
it.
it feel overwhelming at any point? Did you just think, what am I doing this for?
Yeah, I don't mind. I enjoyed school. I don't mind it. Obviously, it's hard work, but the social side of it's good. Wasn't
Yeah.
too bad, really. It's okay in the end.
Are you planning to continue with studies, uni or anything afterwards, or is it full time into horses now?
Yeah, I'm planning to do something at university, something basic, and I want to do horses alongside that for a few years, see how it goes. But I do want to do something, so I have something behind me. I think,
Yeah, I think that
yeah,
sounds very sensible.
I think so.
So, could we just talk a little bit about the current team of horses that you've got in
Yep,
your stable? Can you just go through them for me and tell me
yeah,
what
sure.
is sort of special and what you love about each of them?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll start with the three sort of main ones. Belhaven Callisto, he's the big 8-year-old chestnut horse. He just jumped in his first World Cup down at Borneo about a month ago, and I was so happy with him. He had two down, but he jumped super. There's definitely a lot of things to work on with that horse, but I think he'll potentially be a horse that I might be able to take overseas one day, depending on how he goes. But he'll be a really nice horse, I think, in the future. And then we've also got Cornet's Princess, who's the one that in the Mini Prix last weekend. She's one that we've had for about a year. We bought her a year ago from Bridget Kelly, who was over in Western Australia. She sent her and Yolambi's Lord Byron, who finished second with Kerm in the Mini Prix final. Those two came over together on the same truck, and Hannah Doolan has now bought that horse, and we bought Princess, and it was pretty cool that they both came top two on the weekend. That was cool. But I think she'll be a really good horse too. And then we've got Oaks Cryptic, who's quite new for us. We bought her in about April this year off the Browns, and she's a super horse. I think she's very green for her age, but I think she'll make a really nice horse. And then obviously we have Tulara Fork winner, who's Susan Mackay's horse that I catch right at shows. She's got her personality, but I think next year can jump some young rider courses. Then we've got some really nice young horses coming up then through the age groups, which we plan to do. We've got one at each age. We've got Tulara Karash, who he is going really well, just stepping up into futurities. And then from there down, then we just have two and 4-year-olds that are going to come back into work now that I finished school. And that's pretty much it. That's the team.
Must be a fair bit of a commitment. What sort of time commitment is it for you each day to ride all of those horses or work them all?
Yeah, obviously with school, I've only had probably 4 horses in work. Oh, I forgot actually to mention On Trend, Brian. He's the other chestnut young rider horse. But it's been fine. I've only had about 4 horses in work, so it really hasn't been too bad. But now that school's over, I want to give all the young horses a good period of work, I think. So, yeah, it's obviously long hours, but I do really enjoy it. I do enjoy being outside with the horses I do love it. So yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. You mentioned you've got some Tulara horses and you ride for other people some Tulara horses, and you had a close connection with Mark Fraser from Tulara Warmbloods, who sadly passed away last year. Can you share a little bit about your relationship and what Mark meant to you?
Yeah, we had a great relationship with Mark and Anna. It was a huge shock, obviously, what happened for everyone, not just us. It was actually when we'd had Kolchik for probably a year, and we messaged Mark to see if he'd have a foal that would by any chance that would have a relation to Kolchik, because we like Kolchik so much, and he did. So our first horse we bought off Mark was half brother to Kolchik. He was just a yearling. So that was how our relationship started, was probably through Kolchik. And then from there on, we bought 2-year-olds, lots of 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. We've got 3 young horses out in the paddock now that are just going to come back into work.
And then with Anna's guidance, that is going to continue. Obviously, losing Mark was devastating for many people, and obviously devastating for the sport. They've been such a great breeder. What do you think that they bring to the sport in Australia?
Oh, I think the Tularas are genuinely tough. Like, they're tough horses. You go to a show and there's a wet underwater grass arena, all the Tularas jump well. I think they're just tough, good, careful horses. At least mine are anyway. They never give in. Fine, they've just got that extra bit of. I think it's because of how they've been brought up too. Obviously, Mark was all for a very natural birthing system with them. They were just unassisted in the paddock, and then from there they were just in the paddock. They never got overhandled or anything like that. And sure, some of them are a bit wild because of that, but they're tough horses, I think, which is a good quality to have.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just go back to you now. You've achieved already so much at just 18. What do you think has been one of the most important lessons that the sport has taught you?
That's a tough question, actually. I think it's to not get too upset at the lows, because it's easy to have a bad day and then the next day you can go out and do something really good. But I think it's to not get too upset at the lows, but then when you have success, then, never take it for granted and always enjoy it, because it's never easy to win a big class or do something like that.
So what are your short-term goals from here? Now school's finished, what are you looking forward to next year?
Next year, I'm really looking forward. Hopefully I'll have two horses that will jump in all the World Cups next year, which the Cornet's Princess and Callisto, I think, will both have next year at World Cup, which I'm really looking forward to. Get some points in the league, hopefully. And then I really want to keep bringing through the young horses, because I haven't really done a lot with them. I did the 2 4-year-olds, I did Jumping with the Stars earlier in the year, and then they haven't been ridden since. So I'm looking forward to getting those ones out, because they're really nice red horses. And no, I'm just looking forward to feeling like I can actually put all my effort into riding and not having to worry about your 12, I think.
And then looking a little further ahead, I guess, what's the big dream? Where do you hope this sport will take you?
My goal is to win a medal at the Olympics. I don't really just want to go to the Olympics. I suppose I want to go there and do really well. Probably my goal, I think, because it's never been done before. But I suppose I want to put myself in a position where I can be really competitive overseas, and not just go there for fun, but actually go there and have a crack. And yeah, I think that's where I want to be.
Can you see yourself spending a fair bit of time overseas? Are you a bit of a homebody, or do you see yourself basing overseas in the future?
No, I definitely can see myself basing over there. I don't think it'll be easy. Obviously, leaving home so far away, Europe, it's very different. But I think the sport is just so amazing over there. It's a whole different game. So if I do get an opportunity to go over, definitely I'll take it up and I'll just give it a crack. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all you can do, but you've got a big goal, and I think that's fantastic. Reach for the stars. I like that.
Yeah, I
love
think
that
so,
attitude.
So, yeah.
So we've got a tradition on this podcast that each guest leaves a question for the next guest. And actually, it's funny, I think you sort of probably answered it a little bit before, but your question comes from Aaron Hadlow.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know, when you feel like you are at a low point in the sport, or you've got a self-doubting moment, what do you do to actually push yourself forward, and how do you overcome that?
I just think it's important that when you're at a low point, I've been thinking about this recently, but I think it's easy to put too much focus on the actual result you're getting and lose focus on doing things to give yourself the best possible chance of getting a good result. So I think when I'm at a low point with my riding, I just focus on doing every possible thing to make sure I can do well at a show. Just from everything I do at home to everything I do at the show, it's just all about the preparation, and then the result is the result, I think. And you can't change.
You're right. You just do everything that you can. So have you got a question that you would like to leave for our next guest?
Okay. What's your pump up tune for before a big class to get you in the game?
Fantastic. That's great. I will ask that question. We'll see what
Perfect.
comes back.
That'll be good.
Thanks,
All right,
heaps, Jack. I really
Thanks.
appreciate your time this evening to have a chat, and you've been so busy, and just want to say again, congratulations on the weekend. And
Thanks,
we are
Jack.
so excited to follow your journey moving forward. And I hope we'll be there at the Olympics to watch you ride and take some photos, because
that'd be great. Yeah.
that would be amazing. So thank you again.